Hello, Music Multiverse listeners, and welcome to Panelists' favorite show on Beyond Your Radio. A while back this year, we had our panelists pick their favorite electric guitar players. It seems like a year ago. And tonight, it's about the acoustic marksmen and women at the helm of the guitarra stringed instrument created in the 1600s. Um, Before we get into this, I want to explain a little bit of Panelists' favorite show. We are not talking about the greatest acoustic guitar players of all time. We're talking about Panelists' favorite guitarists in the acoustic realm. The acoustic realm is a very, very vast uh, music multiverse. I found this to be the most difficult exercise above the electric one, to be honest with you, because connectivity and the acoustic level has flavors with artists who sing and then artists who don't, artists who do both, artists who do electric and acoustic, artists who do different variations of acoustic from regular acoustic classical to avant-garde rhythmic and foot pedal modified oddity. And while Mark is usually in the oddity realm,
Yeah.
this one's a little hard to swallow, maybe sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll get into that. I'd also like to thank the YouTubers out there right now. We're on a roll. We have surpassed 300 by a lot. Okay, a lot, 5. But
How many?
for me, that's 20% of our. No, okay, I just it's kind of cool to get, and there's been banter going on back and forth. We've got another band that's going to be on the show. I won't give that in this show, but maybe in another.
Oh,
Uh, so we're getting some attention, but we're having fun doing it. So tonight it's about acoustic, our favorite acoustic guitar players, and on the panel tonight. Oh, let's see. Let's start out with this guy. He's definitely a sound hole of sorts. Steve Scouten. And well, don't fret. She's here. The notorious Damn.
oh, Notorious.
Yes. Well, yeah, everybody.
Yeah, that's my rap.
Everybody.
I gotta
Yeah.
need a rap name.
Uh, to me, always one of the greatest pickups of all time. Susie Q.
She's the best.
He gets paid a loot of money for his professional music opinion. Jeff Crichton.
I wish.
Back
Back
in the
then, the
day,
loot was a
maybe.
lot of money.
Yeah.
The greatest thing Sting shouldn't have done. All right.
Oh,
I keep beating that with a dead horse. I don't know why.
I know you do.
All right, so it's 5. We're going to go around one at a
All right.
time. You do your
Okay.
5, then the next person 4, 3, 2, 1, and we'll start with the great Steve Scouten.
Good evening, Mark. Yeah,
Good evening.
to your point, extremely difficult. Trying to, differentiate, a lot of folks who I enjoy that both are acoustic and electric, vocalists and non-vocal, to your point, non-vocalists. Folks that this exercise forces you to investigate a little bit that you may not have any knowledge of. So I will start with, I'll start oldest in in what I have on my list, and that's the father of the blues, Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson, known for his slide work. His finger picking set the stage for many, many, many blues guitars. Son House. I could go on and on, but the first one that he didn't necessarily come to mind first, but when you did a little research into, and this happens anytime when you research the blues, it always seems like whatever the category, back to Robert Johnson. Everything comes back to Robert Johnson, and this is no different. So, yeah, I'll throw and mine have no number order. It's, 5 people that I felt were great acoustic guitarists, and Robert Johnson being one of them. So
Great.
thank you.
And I agree, Steve. Like it was hard to number these.
It really is, Deb.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. I don't know that I have a one. I don't think a 1 for me is better than a 5. I think they're all very,
Yeah.
very accomplished at the medium, and they all, in my case, they all do something a little different. So
Exactly.
Yep.
Love that.
Yep.
Damn.
Oh, I'm next. Okay. So I kind of did mine in a like I said to Steve, it's hard to rank them. So I did mine more in what uh, ended up being an influential chronological order. So I had to pick Paul Simon because that was one of the things that, like, in my growing up, that music was really played a lot in all of my cousins' ears, and I'm one of the youngest of the family. So that was me going, how does this guitar complement these vocals and this storytelling? And it's a layered thing, right? Maybe you wouldn't catch that storytelling without that guitar. And he does it so subtly that you don't go, Paul Simon's the best guitarist of all time. But without those guitars in that catalog of albums for him, like maybe he wouldn't have been who he is. So I equate his voice, the songwriting, Garfunkel, and the guitar. That's where I get my Paul Simon. I love him, and he should come on the show
Yeah,
with us.
absolutely.
All right. It's a good choice. That's one of those that brings to the mind that without that connection to the guitar and how it was presented, how
Yeah.
would the lyrics have sounded? Same. There are many others on that list in that
Exactly. That's why they're important, right?
Yep. Susie Q, who tells me, I think it's all one.
Well, anyway. So I didn't, yeah, like everybody else, there's so many great acoustic guitarists, guitar players who do both. So I was trying to narrow it down and really couldn't. Um, what was that sound?
The
What was
cat.
It's Buddy. Sorry.
If I start talking, the cat is always there for
that?
some
Someone
reason.
was trying to speak to me
Sorry.
from the grand beyond. Um, but anyway, yeah. So I was gonna go all female,
No.
but then this one came to mind, and I felt like I needed to include them, the duo. Um, yeah, I know. Why like I don't even I just and you're like, oh, you already know what I'm gonna say. It's ridiculous.
Of
Um,
course he does.
but I went with Rodrigo y Gabriela.
Oh, yes.
When we did get to see them at UB in person, in my opinion, they're mind blowing. There are so many greats that have been doing it forever and ever and ever,
Yeah.
and it's really cool to me to see that there's, these amazing, sexy. Are they Mexican? They lived in Mexico. I don't know if I'm assuming.
Oh, they are. I wasn't sure if it was
Yes,
Mexican or
Mexican.
Spanish.
Yep, Mexican.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are so fast. And is it flamingo?
Flamenco guitar, yes, with
Not
electric. So there's
flamingo.
electric.
Is that a bird? Flamenco.
flamenco?
Flamenco is what I said. Yes.
They're not pink.
Yeah, flamenco. But anyway, they play beautifully and they play beautifully together. So I just wanted to add them to the list if people haven't heard or seen them yet, because maybe they don't make great lists. They are incredible to watch and listen to. So,
I'm glad you said that because I really expected that to be a marked list
well,
for
maybe
sure.
I don't know.
Yes. Osmosis.
Could very well be. Mr. Crichton.
All five of mine don't sing at all.
Oh,
They just play.
Yeah.
interesting.
And I'm going back 100 years for my number 5.
Oh,
100
Okay.
years?
100 years. Yes, 100 years ago, this gentleman set a standard, and his music is still played and heard to this day. I mentioned before we started taping the show, I mentioned off camera that there's a band in Buffalo called the Hot Club of Buffalo.
Okay.
They're an acoustic guitar trio, and they kind of take off from another band called Hot Club of Paris, which might have been one of this guy's album titles back then, but he was putting albums out on 78 RPM back in the day.
Mm.
And this would be Django Reinhardt.
Yes.
Nice.
Many a list he is on.
Really?
Yes.
I love it.
Oh yeah. If you haven't heard him, you must.
Yep.
I will now.
Truly influential and
Oh yeah.
a little beguiling too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Different world back then.
over
There was
100
no-
years.
Oh
No.
gosh, yeah.
No internet.
Yeah,
Was there
they
even-
didn't have any
You think?
shows.
I don't think they had. Was the phone invented yet? I don't know.
Not the iPhone.
No, they-
Not the iPhone.
Yeah, I have to be specific in this, right? All right, I'll push mine around a minute because yes, Sue and I have like minds. So there are all these players out there right now, okay? And I'm not gonna mention them just in case some people have them on their list that are considered right now some of the best acoustic guitar players on the planet. And they have this grandiose play of it that goes beyond the string. It goes to the pounding of it. It goes to the tapping. It goes to the slide. It goes to places that require you to have fingers like Dracula. And I watched one of them on Rick Beato, and you can go there. It's even you could see it, and it's unnecessary zoom. If cocaine was his thing, he's got it. He's good. But these two people are my number. They were my number 4, but I'll move them to number 5 so we can get this. Gabriela Quintero is by far the best female flamenco guitar player in the world. There's no one even close.
Not even Charo?
Not even Charo. No. This is when you can do Metallica acoustically and progressive rock. And it's just mind blowing. She is ridiculous, and it doesn't even look like she's breaking a sweat. Her partner there, Rodrigo Sanchez, while he does do mostly electric in most cases, when he picks up the acoustic and they do it together, it's even more fabulous. And it doesn't seem to matter how or what they interpret, whether it's Metallica or Rush or can't remember what else they've done, but they have their own material too, which is absolutely mind-blowing. And it's in the progressive realm of how it's done. Lots of space, but lots of crescendos and songs that are not 1.5 minutes, 3 minutes, more like 9, 11. And it just, yes, one of the best duos in the world, bar none. Back to Steve.
Interesting you say turn the page of Robert Plant, because his sidekick is very well known for alternate tuning and layered arrangements. And you listen to the Rain Song or Over the Hills and Far Away or The Battle of Evermore or Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. You get a touch on Jimmy Page's acoustic talent. I'm huge on his electric though, but when you go back and listen to some of those Zeppelin Your Time Is Gonna Come is a perfect example.
Yeah. Good choice.
Going to California, another perfect example. Yeah, I mean, Jimmy Page, he was influenced by a lot of things. Delta blues being amongst them, which, kind of hits me right where I live. English folk, classical. If you ever get a chance to watch the documentary with he and Jack White and The Edge,
Oh yeah.
where they talk about guitars and stuff, and as much as I love the deep rocking of Led Zeppelin, those songs are just as important in their catalog. And there's a reason Jimmy Page is one of the best guitarists of all times, and I think his acoustic work is equally as good. So I'll throw him in my acoustic pile.
Okay.
I love you, Steve. I'm keeping you.
Damn.
Well, here's my next one, Jimmy
That's-
Page. Um, I know that he's his background before a lot of things was being a session player. So he was, rolling up to make some money every day on the dole to get the whatever he can do to get some money, and he's playing his guitar, and he learned from all these different people, right? And so you need to know how to play a guitar if you're jazz, blues, skiffle, whatever was happening down the road when he's lining up to do it, and he did it. And I think that is very telling in his repertoire of what he does. We always think of that kind of music as being electric because that's what made it so exciting was the electric guitar. But like you said, you already listed it all for me, Steve. Those songs, and when you just pull back and there's no vocals and there's no Bonham thumping into your head, what are you listening to? You're listening to Jimmy Page and the fingers going all over the place. And whether he's playing electric or acoustic, you get it. But the acoustic is where you feel that deepness, right? There's some kind of layered to it. And so he's my number 4. And, if he dies after Robert Plant, I'll marry him. I'm still waiting.
Keep it in the bandily or the family.
I'm just a groupie at heart.
Yeah, I hope.
He was doing session work when he was in the Yardbirds still too.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. Like yes, because he knew, and he always says, like, that's how I learned to be so versatile and write better songs.
I'll take you to Unknown
Yeah.
Sundays last
Oh,
night.
yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say that. I'll take you to Unknown Sundays just this past Sunday. I did an entire blog and show on the great John Fahey.
Mhm.
Okay.
Gigantic in the acoustic environment, hardly known in the world from a standpoint of any newcomer to music. They're not going to go there first. Blind Joe Death is not on the top lists of the greatest guitarists of all time or albums or any of that nature.
Not when you sell that few records.
Yeah, no, right. So his first record, he sold 100.
And
Really?
and there was another release in his catalog that sold less.
Yes, but go to it because it'll give you some clever things that
Okay.
he was even better at than guitar maybe. My point here is he got his guitar acoustic from Sears and Roebuck.
See?
1950, maybe early 50, maybe late 40.
Right.
What do you think it costs?
5 cents.
No, it was about $18.
Oh, that was a price then, huh?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but you had to
It was
order out
an
of catalog.
investment.
You didn't go to the store and get it because that was probably more expensive because those were handcrafted and done, whatever.
Right.
But you could
Yeah.
order from Sears and Roebuck, and that's what he did, and that's what he played on. And those are steel.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Steel strings. Yeah.
little. I don't know, not that flexible.
No, not that they're not plucky.
Yeah,
They're not plucky.
they're not. You can pluck them. That's what he's. But you're not gonna
You're
pull
right.
that sucker, and not without having calluses the size of small buildings.
I got
Oh, yeah.
blisters on my fingers.
Yes. Anyway, that's the rawness. That's what they're getting
I
at.
love that.
And
Yes.
I encourage people to go to that. It was a large article to write. I didn't know what I was getting into. Sue.
Yeah.
You
Well,
never do.
I got to listen to him a lot over the weekend too. I really like
Yes.
and I also had a really cheap first acoustic guitar. Mine was purchased from John's furniture store, and it was in really rough shape. And my mom and my
Wow.
God bless them. I don't know what they did. I think they used marker and stuff to
Yep.
like
Yeah.
clean it up a
Yeah,
bit.
they did. I love that though.
I didn't get very far on it, but I was inspired by my number one tonight. All right, so I've named this person before, but I just wanted to include her in case, all these followers have not heard me mention her before. I really enjoy her, KT Tunstall.
Oh yes.
She's, known for what is it?
Black Horse.
Black Horse and Cherry Tree and Suddenly I See
Mhm.
but she's really talented and lyrically but then guitar is just so soothing, especially the album I was going to was Eye to the Telescope, I'm sorry. And I love it. I don't know much about her. I need to start chat GPTing because I can't keep up with all of your dialogue here, but
How old is she? Like essentially, like what?
she's got to be 30s, 40s now.
Yeah,
Right?
she would be late
okay.
30s, early 40, I would think, at
Mhm.
this
Okay.
juncture.
And where's
Um,
she from, Mark?
Scotland.
Okay.
Okay, Edinburgh. Love that.
But if you haven't heard the album, the Eye to the Telescope, it's extremely enjoyable in my opinion.
And her follow-up takes a different turn and
Yeah.
becomes more melodic and not as poppy and
Really?
acoustic electric. She can do it all. Yeah, good
Well, I
choice.
don't think most
like
most of the songs on this album aren't poppy. Just the couple that made the radio.
Yeah, I mean
The
I
radio.
shouldn't say poppy. I should just say they were radio. They made
Yeah.
radio, right? She hit the right button. Jeff.
Right. Yep.
I'm going to go with an American this time out. But he burst down in the scene in the 70s. And when I first heard his albums, songs were a 6 and 12 string guitar,
Mm.
and I heard Leo Kottke come out of the speakers, and it blew my mind. And from that point on, I said, like, I've never seen him live. I wish I would have back then. But I've got a good chunk of his albums, and he's like incredibly good.
Mm.
But that very first album, Songs for 6 and 12 string guitar, oh my gosh. Another one. If you've never listened to it, you need to.
Top
That's
100
cool.
acoustic albums of all time. I'm
Yeah,
so, right? Yeah.
it's incredible. And he's fantastic.
Okay, so I'll keep this simple. This is the only spoken word individual on the list, and he's not young. He's Neil Young. When it's almost immediate, some of my favorite acoustic albums of all time have his signature on them. While he's not the greatest acoustic guitar player in the world, he does smart, different things that happen.
True. Yes.
And
yes.
and when Silver and Gold maybe being the last really good one, maybe, and then you can go the Unplugged, and you can go Harvest Moon and Harvest and go that way as you go. But the one that got me put him on this list is Greendale.
Really?
The opera that has Crazy Horse in it, but he does a song, and right now it's escaping me at the moment, but he actually takes the guitar and the low string and he put it low so that he could get a play on it that it would vibrate.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
and
vibrato. The
yeah, and
vibrato,
he
right?
kept, and
Yeah.
it's just
Yes.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And for him to be, and then when he did that, Daniel Lanois said, "I'm going to build a guitar for you, so you don't have to do that crap, so that you can play both sets." And Daniel Lanois built a guitar for him so that he could do that
Stop.
on electric, not acoustic. But
Right, but still,
yeah, but
that's
still, yeah,
amazing.
he's playing two set. He's playing the bass and the electric in it, and that's, or and the rhythm.
Yep.
So it's crazy to me. But
I
that
love it.
album there kind of set that. And again, that album has a lot of electric because Crazy Horse is within it. But
Yeah.
you go to those that I mentioned, and Harvest Moon is, it's killer. It just,
Yeah.
and it can be down tune, it can be high tune, it can be about his dog, it can be about just riding a motorcycle. And
And
just,
I have to agree with you because that was the album, that was his work that I went, oh, maybe I do like him.
well, you get that ding ding ding. That's it. You're done. You're
Yeah.
in. That's
Yeah.
it. It's a nice,
Absolutely.
probably one of the
Yeah.
great starts of acoustic songs, in the top
Ever.
100. So
Agreed.
Comes a time.
yeah,
That album's, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Steve.
So,
We're back to Steve.
so I've always enjoyed this guy. One of my favorite performers of all time. Started listening to him shortly out of college with his band. But it took me to COVID where he put out a acoustic. He put out an EP, but it had 4 acoustic songs on it that kind of drove me to what else. Basically, taking the mask off and uncovering more of what this guy's about.
Interesting.
I grew up with, I've never grown up. I grew old
We
with,
know that. We ate dinner with you. We know.
I grew old with his grunge, but I think I've grown older in appreciating what he does acoustically with a ukulele. His covers of what some of the things he's done. He's covered some of, in addition to him, some of my other favorite musicians of all time. And it's Eddie Vedder.
Wow.
His Matter of Time EP includes great, great acoustic versions of Pearl Jam music. He's acoustically covered Bruce Springsteen. I mentioned the ukulele songs. He has acoustic music in the Into the Wild soundtrack. And
Yeah.
I grew up with Eddie hanging off of wires playing Wrigley Field. I didn't grow up with him listening to music while I'm driving someplace. And it's, he's one of those guys that hit me right where I needed him when I needed him. So Eddie was a pretty solid choice. Came to, just a medium and a part of him that I discovered late, but I'm glad I did.
Yeah, he seems
That's
to
cool.
be comfortable in that. And I always thought of him as a very uncomfortable lead, not lead, frontman. Like
Yeah.
it was some duty,
Right.
not
Yes.
but as he's obviously, as this has gone on, he's gotten much more, assimilated to the whole deal and everything. But
Yes.
yeah, to see him at the acoustic was that intimacy, and that has that connectivity, and yeah.
Right. And that's, it was, as I thought back to some of that stuff, I was like, yeah, he's a pretty solid choice. And music he puts out today solo just has that tinge to it. He always seems to have a couple where he just sits down with a guitar and plays. And for someone that you grew up with in a totally different mindset to have evolved to that, to me, checks a box. So yeah, Eddie Vedder's I'll throw him on the pile as well.
Deb.
Cool. Well, the different mindset. I love that you say that. We didn't plan this, but my next one is somebody that I had a totally different mindset from prog rock the grandioseness of prog rock and how guitars and they've got to kind of combat with the keyboardists and everything. And when I heard this guy's first acoustic after what I was growing up with prog rock is Steve Howe from Yes. And this was my segue into we need to do all this craziness everywhere, but if you're a good guitarist, you can just settle down and do it right here and make it just beautiful and be what the instrument is met for. And Beginnings and Turbulence, those two albums for me, I went, this is Steve Howe from Yes. And I'm just expecting this bombastic, the word that you always use, Mark, but really, that's what you would expect from somebody from Yes. And not know that, well, you probably grew up on that guitar you got at the furniture store. And that's how you learn to play guitar. And just making it beautiful and watching this man, he's still playing, I believe, and making music in his 70s. Maybe we're not reviewing his albums, but I'm sure there's people out there that have looked at him as an inspiration, going, I don't need to play all that crazy electric music. Even though that's fun to do it because that's how you get the girls. But him, I went, wow. Yes is just so, there's just so much theatrics behind it. And acoustic isn't theatrics. It's just the heart of what an instrument does.
Yeah, it
And
can. I mean,
that's
it
why I
can be. I
picked
mean, that's.
it can be.
I'm sure if we look, I remember some of the Yes records that there are times where he picked that up and utilized it. He probably didn't do it to start because when he sat in on the band, he probably
Yeah.
went, well, I guess I got to better go get an electric guitar. So he went back to
Yeah.
his car and said, I'm going to get
Open
drowned
his
out.
trunk.
But
Yeah.
why we probably don't do his records is he's not a mystery because we know exactly how he does it. Sue,
Good one.
Boy.
Sue to you.
Me?
Sue to you.
I was
Sue
still, I was
Studio.
still processing your pun. Okay. Number 3 for me.
You live with him.
I know.
It's all pun all the time.
God bless you.
Number 3 is someone that I tend to forget about a lot. Back when she was like a big thing, she was everywhere. Didn't really appreciate her guitar playing at the time, I don't think. But now when I go back and listen to an album or a song, I do. And she has a beautiful voice, and acoustic fits her very well because she is an intimate singer, songstress. Her lyrics almost go better with the acoustic, I think. And so I went with Pieces of You by Jewel.
Oh,
Pretty
very good.
songs, light,
Yes.
wispy, and
Yeah.
works for me.
Folksy, but not Joni Mitchell folksy.
Yeah, and when Joni Mitchell, of course, I never got into her.
Me
I
neither.
just don't know enough about her. I know she's
Me
on
too.
all the lists. But
You may be learning something. I don't, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need, she is on my list of to-dos.
The greatest female artist of all time.
But not,
Maybe.
this is a panelist favorite.
Yeah,
Just want to remind everybody.
that's
There
why.
is no wrong answer unless you're Alex.
No, even if Alex would have come out, there wouldn't have been any wrong answer. Unless, of course, the man never played an acoustic guitar in his life. Then I'd be like,
Well, that would be a wrong answer.
that would be something. But yeah, I see Sue's point at Jewel.
Yeah.
And
I do too.
Yeah, she I don't know where she stood in line with all that
It
came out
doesn't
in
matter. It's your
95.
favorite.
Right,
It's-
but I'm
This
just
is our
saying,
favorites.
I think so many maybe female singers that came out around that time, or I don't know. I think she was underappreciated maybe, and I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I don't. I'm assuming that Jeff, you didn't sell that record at all, right? That wasn't in the
That
wheelhouse.
first record, no, but I was in the biz. That
Okay.
that album was, for Atlantic Records, that was a huge record. Her
Yeah.
first album,
Yep.
but she was never able to match that success.
No, the bad choice in a follow up. There was too much, I don't know, poetic stuff, and yeah, you do have to ride a little bit of the wave and be considerate to the wave, and she was not, and or whoever produced the next record or thought process was, I don't know
Yep.
whether they gave her full whatever she wanted or they went the other way. It didn't connect as well. But further
Well,
albums down the
she
line, I actually liked, was it Way Up? Something like that. Something with Up
she
it.
she never wanted to be a pop star.
No,
So
she
Yeah.
didn't.
Right.
But
Mm-mm.
but
And
yeah.
Sue doesn't ride the wave either. Sue is her own girl. And then you pick
mhm.
who you love, honey.
Yeah.
What I do.
Jeff.
I'm going with the Jazz Cat again.
Oh, the
Um,
jazz cat.
this guy's like phenomenal. He can't, his name was out there for a long, long time, and then he did a live record with a couple other guys, and his name grew from there. But he's an excellent flamenco player as well. But I'm going with Paco de Lucia.
Mark is loving you now. Yep.
I do not have anything other than one record with him,
Really?
McLaughlin, and El Di Meola.
Yes,
That I
that's
have.
that's the album I'm referring to.
Is it? Yeah, and
Yeah,
that
but
was my introduction to him, and I have been looking ever since, and that doesn't come in the used bin too often. So
no. But he's fantastic.
yeah, absolutely.
And he was out of the three, he was the least known. But those two guys said, "We want to play with you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that one guy, he's the godfather of them all. I don't, it's McLaughlin. McLaughlin is he's just, everybody
No.
would.
Well, yep. That's to come.
Yeah. Me. Yeah. There's
Right.
nobody else.
You're not.
So I'm gonna step off the reservation. I'm gonna go
Always,
female,
always.
and I'm gonna go to a female that probably not many people know. The most
We
inventive,
hope.
extensive. I'd say it, an extensivist. She takes that acoustic guitar to an extent that I have not heard, seen anybody do. Not only from a standpoint of how it's being played, what's being attached to it, and the multimedia presentation that's going on the guitar at this
Oh.
time. This is Khaki King.
Oh.
She has been a staple of mine since her debut, which went into the indie alternative realm of guitar, and she'll do acoustic mostly, but there is electric in what she does too. But she has custom guitars made that are not what you would look at and think that's even an acoustic guitar, but it is wildly unique. I would put her in the alternative realm of acoustic guitar playing, but then jazz associated too. And she used to be not a singer. That has changed. That might be the only thing that has this. Neil Young does not have a great voice, but Neil has that connectivity and that
Yes.
trodden, earthly or realistic kind of way, Kermit the Frog. And then there's Khaki King, who is trying to develop that. And I think the first time that started to happen, most people that were following kind of went, whoa, what's happening here? Is that taking away from me? I have been still on the train or the wagon or whatever you want to say, but there are times where I'm like, well, maybe just keep with maybe I didn't need it vocally. I don't know. but
Got it.
she is wildly talented at guitar and
Where's she from?
underlooked at. Actually, she won a contest, and I can't remember who. Oh, and she beat out Derek
What? She
Trucks.
won or she
She
lost?
lost to
What
Derek
happened?
Trucks, I think.
Oh,
Either
really?
that or Trucks' wife. I can't remember which, but
Okay.
in guitar. So, but yeah, she's well known, and she would come up if you run a list. She'll make the top 100, no question, because of how
All
she
right.
plays and how different it is. All right, back to Steve. Enough of my yabble babble.
Number two. When I first heard of this guy, I wasn't a fan because I wasn't a 16-year-old girl. Still, still not,
I can't wait.
still not a 16-year-old girl.
Not yet.
No,
There's time.
I've got plenty of time. But his guitar playing grew on me due to the role he was going to take on.
Okay.
Then I kind of went back and said, holy Hannah, this guy can play. Now, I like him because today he took over the role of Jerry Garcia. But if you go back and listen to some of his, for a guy who's more of a hippie to go back and listen to the song Daughters and go, holy play. And, Stop This.
Yeah.
Does a beautiful version of Free Fallin', the Petty song. He's a hybrid acoustic guitar player. He's a pick and a finger guy. It's all bluesy. A lot of mornings driving back from Fredonia. There's a lot of Dead and Company. So I have the luxury of listening to him quite often. But in doing this exercise, it was going back and listen to more things he does from an acoustic nature. And John Mayer is just one of the best guitar players in the world.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to warm to him. A mutual friend of Ray and I one night called and said, hey, I've got an extra seat to Dead and Company. And I was like, yeah, but it's John Mayer. And he's like, I'll buy your ticket if you think it sucks. I'm like, okay. And I went. And
Nice.
I'm like, you don't need to buy my ticket.
I've done that too to people.
There's a guarantee there.
Yeah. I'm like, this guy is wonderful. And, shame on me for, not, giving him a pass earlier, because his music is beautiful and his guitar playing is beautiful as well. So
True.
John Mayer, acoustically, I mean, he can do it all. And, yeah, I'm happy to say he's on the list. He's very good at what he does. And now that he owns the Grateful Dead catalog, I probably ought to say I'm a big fan.
And he does
Like that.
all acoustic shows too.
Yes.
So that means when you do
really?
that, then you know.
Yep.
Right? Because
Wonderful. Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And he probably not a Sears and Roebuck guitar though.
I
Probably.
can't imagine it is.
Damn.
Or from the furniture store. Well, mine is kind of cliche, but it's because this guy, actually, I got to see him in concert, and near and dear to my heart. And it was at a time that I was going through some struggles in my life. And Eric Clapton, he's probably the one that introduced me to the connection, really firsthand, between blues and rock and roll and what that acoustic guitar does. So I saw him at the Odd, and he does sing, and I love his voice with his acoustic guitar. So I just looked at him and I thought, this is the kind of music I want to continue to listen to. And it wasn't necessarily because it was bluesy, it was just simple connection between a human and that instrument and the voice, and then how it all becomes something that we connect to. And that's what he did for me. And the next person on my list is going to explain a little bit more. But Eric Clapton, I think, is that unplugged guy. And I don't want it to seem cliche, but I would love to go see him again before either of us passes away and just sit in a little venue at, maybe where would I go, Mark?
You
Where
need
I'd
to
be.
go. You need to go. You need to go to the final crossroad. It'll be the last one. Will be the next one probably. That will
Okay,
have him.
well,
Yeah, somebody
that
else
would
will take it
be
over, maybe, but that would give you the chance to see him with whoever the hell decides to come by.
Well, you can
that
go.
The
would
You
last
be.
can
time
go
it
with
was
my
like,
brother-in-law. He'll be
yep,
going.
Yeah, because
Oh, Dan will take me. Dan
he
loves me. We'll go.
he doesn't tour anymore.
nope.
He has problems with his hands. He
Hmm.
has an immune deficiency with his hands, so he
Is it
doesn't.
like a neuropathy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, he'll
really. That's
play.
horrible.
He will play Royal Albert Hall. He'll play but no tour. It's just like
Okay.
one event. Yeah,
It's too painful for
Well,
him to do a
well,
tour.
then I was lucky enough to see him
yeah. The unplugged. That was
sit on
probably
a stool and
yeah.
play. That was amazing. So that's my guy.
My number two, uh, another female. This, I don't know. For me, she couldn't not be on the list. I just think her and acoustic go together. I went with Tracy Chapman. Uh,
Mm,
just I love her. I love everything about her. Her voice.
I did too. Good
It all
choice.
it all just works. I wish she'd do more.
Yeah,
Maybe it's me. Maybe I've gone away and I just haven't been paying attention. But um, she
I
makes
agree.
makes it look easy yeah.
It's her thing, right? You just bring her
Connect
back.
connectivity.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yep.
Ray or not Ray? Holy cow! Wow.
Well,
Ray, where are you, Ray?
I'll tell you what my number two is.
Jeff, to you.
It's funny that you did that Unknown Sunday show because it wasn't unknown to me.
No, I didn't think it would be. Right.
And the first time I heard the great John Fahey played, I bought his Christmas album, The New Sensation, and which is a beautiful Christmas album. Again, I'm going to just say, if you don't own any of his albums, he is. And I know, Sue, you said you listened over the weekend. I've always loved this guy. From the first time I heard that Christmas album, which was probably, I mean, he was well into his career. He was in like the later stages. I think I heard that album. I bought it in like 1980 or 81.
Yes,
And it's a beautiful Christmas album that I'll be pulling out in a few days. But then that album made me want to hear more. And so I went back into his catalog and heard it all. And he might be the most talented acoustic guitar player that nobody knows, or very few know. So the great John Fahey is number two for me.
And
he was so easy to listen to, and I
Yeah.
didn't know, I didn't know how old he was or when he came out. I was just hearing it, and I'm like, who is this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Still very fresh, and
Yep.
His albums are dark. I will warn you that
Oh,
they
yeah.
have a very, very
Okay.
his album is the only way I found him, and people will find that out when they watch Unknown Sunday. The only reason I found him was he's on the list of one of the darkest albums ever made. And he has
Really?
4 Christmas albums. 4.
No,
Yeah.
I know you hate that. That's the
Yeah.
darkest, though.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
darkest of the darks, Mark.
Well, they're dark, but he's got some faith behind
Yes,
faith
absolutely.
and soul
Yeah.
behind his playing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
it was cool that you did that show because I felt like, okay, I knew I was going to mention him on this show. So There you go, John. You got back-to-back mentions. How about
Back-to-back
that?
mentions, well deserved. Probably out of all the unknowns that I've done, probably one of the most egregious ones of all time. Maybe
Mhm.
you know, yeah.
Yep.
Andy, he got resurrected twice.
Yeah.
Once by Sonic Youth, and because they mentioned that what an inspiration, how influential he was for them,
Mhm.
and then he got into experimental stuff with cul-de-sac. So a lot of oddities in that going on, but yeah, he was on my list, but I thought, well, I gave it all on Sunday, so I gave on Sunday. His first he Tacoma Records. Okay,
Yeah.
that's how he got his first record, because he was too scared or didn't understand the fact that his stuff, how it was being played and what it was,
Mhm.
because it's
Yeah.
primitive. This is called primitive music, basically, right? Primitive blues.
Yeah.
And he
Yes.
literally wouldn't go to a record company because he said, "There's no way this is going to get picked up. They won't take. They're not going to sign." So he took his own money and money from an Episcopalian priest, who then
Right.
the two
Really?
of them own the record company.
Yeah. And see, he wasn't even like in the early '60s when there was the whole folk music boom. He didn't even become part of that.
It was just too.
Yeah, which
So
he could have
interesting.
been.
Yeah,
He could have been,
he could
but
have played along, but he didn't want to play along. He
Right.
wouldn't compromise. He went to
No.
Berkeley and said, "Nope, this isn't working for me." The only thing
Yeah.
that came out of Berkeley for him was the guy from Canned Heat, Alan Wilson.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Alan Wilson and him got along really well, and you know what happened with Canned Heat? Canned Heat loved primitive blues and brought
yeah.
all that back to the
Yeah.
table. So
Mhm.
Mhm.
there's
Yep.
big
Yeah.
stories in this, and I could have gone on for hours.
Oh my
So,
God, I know.
Yeah.
Like,
great stuff.
Yeah.
luckily, I just do the really stupid stuff that everybody knows.
My number 2 is the other guy in that threesome that Jeff talked about. I am a huge fan of El Demiola. I love
Yeah.
the dual threat,
Yes, you
and
do.
actually the triple threat, because he can play electric too,
Yeah.
as he showed on the latest 2024 record. But when he's got that acoustic, that microphone is right there. I don't know if it's inside or what. I feel like I'm right
Yeah.
in the guitar, and I love
Yeah.
that. Him and Metheny kind of have that too. When Metheny
Yes,
doesn't do it as
Pete,
often,
yes.
but when he does, it's that same thing that's just so pure. It's so lovely. But there's one guy that just does it for me. That'll come up as number 1. But Al Demiola will come
Oh.
number 2.
When he attacks the
I'm-
acoustic, well, he attacks both electric
Both.
and acoustic. He's Yeah.
Steve, it's time for numero uno.
Oh, I'll be that guy. You know, the guy that comes up with the thing that's hot as of the moment.
Okay,
Makes sense though. I'll go with
let's
it.
go.
I just went to see him, and
Oh,
he is incredible. A flat picker can go slow, can go quick. He does equally as good with his own original stuff as he does with the things he covers, and he has his following is increasing and increasing and increasing, and
I don't know who you're talking.
I can't wait to see him again because
okay.
he was fantastic, and he has a wonderful band behind him. And this is Billy Strings.
Really?
Absolutely
Mhm.
fantastic. If you have a
Yep.
chance to look him up on YouTube or listen to any of his stuff, Meet Me at the Creek, Dust in a Baggie. He does great covers of Dead songs, great covers of Dylan songs. And he's 33 years old. He
Crazy.
is
Crazy.
I feel weird having a youngster at the top of this list. You know, I go from Robert Johnson, who never made it to 27, to Strings, who's 33 now. But I was told he'd be good. You know, I went and I was stunned at what a fantastic guitar player he was. Or is.
He's a talented dude.
I love
good.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, like I said earlier, there's not a number one or a number five or number this.
It is difficult, isn't it?
He's great. He's great. So
here's the John Fahey in this, the reverse.
Okay.
Where here he is doing what he's doing, and he has accepted the general wheelhouse of everything.
Right.
Right. Whereas some will not. And
Right.
I think that has increased his popularity. If you want to increase your popularity really, really quick, yeah, do the Dead. Because that'll get you there, right? And he's been on other people's records. He's had people, like, he goes on stage with people that are famous, and all of a sudden they're like, "Who's this kid?" And then all of a sudden it's like the Clapton Crossroad thing. Bam! Now it's this guy, right?
Right.
Yep.
His concert scene is right. Right out of a Dead show. You walk up. There's all the bootleg. There's a Shakedown Street there. There's people selling stuff. It's the next.
It's the next wave.
The next jam band things.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool.
But he matches it. Like it's not something where it's orchestrated. He really good at his. That's the thing that I wanted to see. You read the clippings, you heard the music. Does he live up to the hype live? And he absolutely does. Absolutely.
Damn, you'll be okay. So you go ahead.
I will. Okay. Well, I don't have a lot to say because I'm boring. Because Steve, your first one you mentioned is my last one I'm going to mention because I think this is what gave the inspiration to all these people to sit down with a guitar and just start to strum on it and figure out how they're going to do what they got to do. And my Robert Johnson, that's my guy. That's who I hearken to. I think that even when I listen to that old, like, tinny recordings of him, I go, guess what? If I had any inkling to ever play a guitar and have the aptitude to play it to a point where I would be a Jimmy Page or an Eddie Vedder or a John Fahey or any of the people we've mentioned, I would go, that's who I'd want to be like. He's just that guy sitting there going, that guy. Can you imagine 27 and when he dies and he's done this for music for us.
And
I just want to thank him.
And it's all prior to him being 27. That's the part of that.
Yes.
So Robert Johnson begot so many others after him.
Right.
And
Lead
Belly.
Lead Belly would be.
Yes, Lead Belly.
With Blind Willie Johnson, was that prior, same time?
They all had the worst names.
Yeah, but Lead Belly and there's so many others. Book of White.
Who was actually who? Guess what record label he was on?
Tacoma.
Oh!
He was the original Booker T.
Really?
He was Booker T.
He wasn't Booker T. He was Booker T.
Booker T. Yeah. Well, I went with it there.
Close.
Sue.
Well, my number one is I really wanted to learn her songs. I loved the way she performed. I do prefer her earlier music to what it evolved into, which kind of lost me a bit as she went more mainstream and got really popular. But Melissa Etheridge, she just
nice.
I don't know. There's no words. I think I'm glad I got to see her play live because she's definitely somebody that I would have felt that I missed out on had I not. But I love the way she just commands the guitar and she just made it sound different than others. And of course her personal life, like I didn't know everything about her personal life going on, but
yeah,
her passion and her conflict and everything just kind of came out in her lyrics and her music. And Jeff,
number one.
See, all the Robert Johnson and Lead Belly lead belly conversation made me even think
Stop it.
made me think of the great Brownie McGee
Brownie?
as well, who made some great records with his harp playing partner Sonny Terry. But that's not my number one.
I didn't think so, but
But it made me think of that.
yeah,
I'm
it
not
wasn't on my
surprised.
list. I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, my you know, to me, I mean, this guy could play anything. I mean, he's a great acoustic player, great electric player. You know, sometimes when you think of him playing like the double neck electric, um, like so many, played like Page played. Um, but the first time I heard this guy, he was playing with Miles, and then he wound up, putting out his own records, and then he had an orchestra, the Mahavishnu Orchestra, and then he made an album with Carlos Santana, and all these other great records, and he was equally billed with those other two guys with Demiola and Paco, on that acoustic live album. But to me, John McLaughlin stands alone, and
Oh,
he's
nice.
he's made many, many,
Nice.
many, many great albums, and so there you go.
Cool.
There's
I like that.
not much, where else do you go from there? You just
Yeah,
don't.
really.
I
I
was
tap
talking
out.
about that with my brother-in-law yesterday when I told him we were doing the show, and he
Yeah.
mentioned him, he mentioned John Mayer, he mentioned Billy Strings because he had just seen him, and yeah, so it's nothing. I would think that anybody in the room that still has a guitar and is of the age or below the age, that's the first person they're going to mention. Just maybe Jeff Beck, and then it starts to
Oh, that was
Yeah.
on my list. He was on my list. Jeff Beck. Yeah.
So when it comes to acoustic, I still think the intimate part of it is where my favorites lie. Although everybody knows I love the wild out avant-garde stuff, the Mike Dawes of the world and the Tony Emmanuel who they can wail on the guitar, play drums on it, do all kinds of wicked shit. But this one artist, jazz wise, has it, and he's got tons of competition. He's got Julian Lage, he's got Pat
Oh,
Metheny, he's got I'm missing somebody else in that mix. I can't remember who. But what it boils down to is he's never wavered from what jazz the standard of it is, whether it's in a cover, which is not that often. Maybe Tony Rice maybe would be another one, maybe in that mix. And of course, where am I going? I'm going to Canada.
oh, you always go to Canada.
And
Do you
I
have your
was surprised
passport?
because I sometimes forget that this gentleman is Canadian. It's Jesse Cook. This is jazz's greatest acoustic guitarist right at the moment, who has this. He's like this ambassador of the day who doesn't waver into any ridiculum, but finds these beautiful melodies, these hooks, these signature sounds that it's hard in jazz sometimes to identify the player, sometimes, unless they're wild out. But the Al Di Meola, I would assume
Mhm.
Jesse is going to say that's one of my idols, because he has that
Yes.
signature as well. He knows how to go there. Not a lot of fancy on that side of things, but this is just beautifully constructed uh, acoustic jazz. Um, he hasn't been one of those guys that's played with a lot of other players, which is interesting because obviously Lage has played with Nels Klein and other people, as has Metheny and others that are in this junket together. But Jesse Cook and there's not a solitary album that would waver you in any way. You could pick up any one of those and get the idea and what he's about and how it happens. Whether it's a cover again, which is few and far between, and then the originals still So that would be he would be my number one, and it took me a while to get there because man, I was having a hard time. And I'm a guy who wants to
Yes.
put him in, and I know I make you guys do this. You don't have to, but it
We
does let me
still
start
do. We
thinking about
love
because
you.
I mean, there's all kinds of people, and I'm sure Jeff's going to have some mentions. So we'll go around any honorable mentions really quick on the off the cuff. Steve.
I also had Eric Clapton very high on the list.
Mhm.
I did the research I did was on Tommy Emmanuel, which yeah, wonderful guitar player.
Deb.
Well, I discovered Dave Matthews Band a few years ago, and Tim Reynolds, I
Mhm.
think, is not just, I mean, like, when you play a guitar or play an instrument, you also have to play the story.
Mhm.
And Dave Matthews is a big storyteller, and their music has a lot of that feeling about are you going to get from point A to point B and still be in it? And I think that he does that. And I don't know a lot about him other than Dave Matthews. I don't know if he's done solo stuff,
Yeah,
but
I
I
don't.
do
Yeah.
know.
he has. Tim has a band. I've seen TR3. They're
Mhm.
very
Okay.
good. Tim does not sing.
Well, yeah.
Mr. Crichton.
There's so many great players.
Yeah.
So just
Don't say 64 of them.
no,
You get three.
no.
Three.
There I have 1, 2, 3, 4, not
Oh,
including Charo.
Sure.
There you go.
Arriba.
Yeah. Um,
I'm
you
gonna
know,
get hate for that.
there's some great pickers here. The bluegrass, Tony Rice, um, fantastic. Just
Mhm.
um, there's the great Roy Clark.
Roy Clark is a great pick.
Everybody thinks like hee haw when you think of Roy Clark, but if you heard him play, your jaw would drop. He's a great picker. The late great Clarence White, who with his brothers and his dad in the '60s, they had a bluegrass band called the Whites, and Clarence wound up joining the Later Day Birds and playing a lead electric guitar for him, and he had like a style unto his own where he bent the strings on his electric, and he was an incredible acoustic player because that was his choice early on when he was a bluegrass player. But Clarence got so shortly after Dwayne and Barry Oakley got run over. Clarence was unloading the van with his guitar and got hit by a drunk driver.
Oh my God.
That was in 1974. But he was an unbelievable player. And then people don't give him credit. He was the only singer, Roy Clark sang, but the only real rock guy on my list that sang, but he played a wicked acoustic guitar, and that would be Stephen Stills.
Yeah.
Mhm. There's no question
Okay,
about
we'll
that.
give it to you.
No. You'd have to go and you'd have to listen because that's something that I don't know unless you went into those records. That's not what the record label wanted him to do.
That's exactly right.
They put out the mellows,
Yes.
right? Mostly. I mean,
Yep.
the
Yep.
deeper
Well,
dives.
you hear some of the acoustic stuff on his solo records, and then later on the vaults were dug into, and he had like a 1968 demo where some of those songs made it on the first CSN album. It was after the Springfield broke up,
Okay.
and it's just him as an acoustic guitar, and it's fantastic.
Just doing them that way, right? They're just
Yeah.
the outtake or the demos you said, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But some of their live shows when Crosby, Stills, and Nash did their solo shows, and they all had They all had all three, and when Neil was with them, all four of them had acoustic sets, and he sat down there with either a 6 or a 12 string, and he was fantastic. He was equally as good a guitar player as Neil was. They were just different, but they were both great together and separately.
I have two honorable mentions. The quick one I'll give you is watch out for Poland. There's a guy from Poland. That's right.
Oh, you.
Marcin. Okay. Just look up Marcin, Marcin. Not a lot going on yet. Not 17 catalogs, nothing of that. Just two. But I did review one of his records last year, drawing attention in the realm of modifying the guise and control that one must have over this such an honest instrument. So I recommend that. He's marvelous. But my guy that I so wanted to get in and just it's Lawson Rollins, another jazz aficionado at the guitar, much like a Jesse Cook, but he actually does electric too, and has some and modifies things. But he's another one of those. Perhaps he's a bit more intriguing to me because of that electric style that I found him at. I didn't know he was acoustic. I had to find that out later. But I've reviewed a couple of his albums over this channel, and he's always been had that great control yet improv and very very well done. So what were your
Wait a minute, my
favorites?
cat's mad.
Who did we miss? Who would you like us to take a look at that we haven't from your neck of the woods? I'll thank the panelists for doing this tonight. It was not an easy exercise, but a fun one.
No. Yeah.
We will be off for Thanksgiving weekend here, so to speak. Dan and I will still be doing album reviews Saturday.
Yep.
But, more things to come. We're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, of course. It's all about, there's albums, bands, artists, anything we can get our hands on. Go Beyond Your Radio with us, a real music appreciation channel. As always, thanks for watching. Happy listening.